Brazilians, they love to dance. We love to like go out and just like shake our asses. This is what we do, you know. And we always say like it doesn't matter like if it's like a women or man, you know, like they're not afraid to move. They just go and move and have fun. This is how we express, you know. And we used to say that we need to have rhythm, you know, like to dance, to share, to share some happiness because we already live in a country that struggle a lot about politics,
Yeah.
about um, oh well, so many stuff, you know. So that's why we find, you know, like ways to make life easier. Maybe dance and music.
I love how you said both women and men can shake their ass, and honestly, any gender at this point. And I think that's beautiful. And it's so true because everyone wants to move. Everyone wants to be able to feel the music and express themselves without constraints.
Hmm.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that because I remember when I was taking this is sort of a little bit unrelated, but more so focused on other Afro-Latin dance styles like bachata, for example, because it came up to my head. I remember I was in these bachata classes and a lot of workshops, whether it be at festivals or classes at studios and stuff. And a lot of times, one thing that I've noticed that they'll do in classes is that they'll separate people based on men and women, and they'll typically have men lead and women follow. So it's already setting up the dynamic that men can't follow and women can't lead when sort of instructors break up
Hmm.
classes that way. But also, the instructor was like, okay, guys, we're going to do the basic step, but guys, make sure that you don't move your hips as much
Uh,
because that's what the women are supposed to do.
uh,
And, and I'm just like, what about me? Because I'm trying to, I want to shake my ass too. Like, I want to
uh-huh.
feel sexy. So, and best believe, baby, I can do it.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. That's so interesting. I say this because I like to mention
Mhm.
this because, of course, in Brazil, uh, we also have like more conservative, you know, like society when it goes like back in the days. But somehow, I always felt that when it comes to parties, when it comes like to, you know, even like okay, we have like this society, you know, like things that they build on especially the men, like oh, men shouldn't cry, should be more like strict and be, you know, like don't move so much. But like in practice, you know, like when it comes like to parties, you can see both men and women, you know, like they really like moving their hips because you know, like, and even like a woman, you know, like in Brazil, they consider very essential, like a man, like moving their hips. So they really, when like a man, like especially like okay, when you go to women, they moving and they're like shaking their asses and all the stuff. It's nice, we cheer. But when a man stop and start doing like, especially the women, like whoa, yes, you know, like they cheer and then they go and yes, go get it, you know. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, so we
Yes. And yeah, it definitely seems that based on what you're saying, Brazil has that element. And I've even noticed it within Zouk and Brazilian Zouk dance community. It seems very tight knit, family oriented in a way that I felt that is different than my experiences in other styles, like I said, bachata, but also salsa. And, it appears to be such an inclusive style of dance that really celebrates those same gender partnerships and role switching. And it's something that when I first started dancing, Zouk, because I'm very new to this style, it's something that I've slowly delve into. And throughout those just small experiences, I've already felt very at home. I felt like it was a family, like even just in the Zouk room at a Congress, or it's such an intimate experience that I really can't even compare to salsa and bachata. Like it's just it's something that it's so interesting, and I'm curious. It seems that you have noticed that as well. Is there even a connection between Brazilian Zouk and let's say the LGBTQIA community due to that connection?
You know, I think intentionally not. Okay, I think,
Mhm.
but I think like the dance, it always like evolves with the society. So I
Yeah.
always tell with especially my students, I tell that everything that happens, you know, especially when they complain about the ballroom, and the socials. And I always say like that's not a problem of the dance. That's a problem from outside that we bring inside, because it's just like a reflection of what's happening outside. So maybe the answer for your question is outside the dance floor. What I felt is that especially Brazil is a very, it's becoming more and more open society. So I think, of course, we have sometimes uh, the LGBT community, they struggle a little bit with some stuff, of course, but I think the more they get like respect and people understand, the more you can understand them like in different areas. So what I think is that Brazilian Zouk is a very open society and community, like you compare like this that accept, because Brazil is going towards that direction also. So I think that just because it's a very open country, that we gather like different uh, points of view about life, and different lifestyles. I think we can of course like have a good relationship with different communities. And of course, like we can talk about many other different, like we're talking about LGBT and no other everything, but we can talk about like black people. We can talk about elderly, people, and we try to include them as much as we can. I'm not saying that it is perfect, but especially like when it
Mhm.
comes for the effort of the instructors, we try to always like review, like are we including everybody or not? Are we like putting out somebody? And of course, people that have like a very how can I say, conservative opinion about this. Like for example, no, man should be leader, woman should be follower, like very very much like this. Usually, these people don't last so much in our community, so they usually um,
Uh-huh.
especially because the main scene now, if you consider like let me give you an example. Nowadays we have a council, like the Brazilian Zouk dance council, which is like the main artists,
Uh-huh.
like they just gather and make like a council. They do a lot of stuff for the dance community, but also they tell some statements, something that they believe, that how Brazilian Zouk community should, like develop and everything. And we have the Jack and Jill competitions, which are like competitions, for those who don't know, like it's an improvisation where you register yourself in a role as a leader or as a follower. So there was one community in here in this world that they were struggling with this a little bit, because there was like one guy that he registered himself as a follower, and he's a man, so he registered himself as a follower. And then there was one guy, during the competition, that refused to dance with him just because of his gender. Like, oh, I'm a leader, and oh, you're a man, I'm not dancing with you. So it was like a clearly, um, um, like kind of homophobic, like situation that we
Yeah.
we saw. And the council, they come and then say like, okay, we have this. And I'm saying because I'm also an official judge of the council. So inside we have like a meeting, like talking about this situation and how could we manage that. So like,
Yeah.
like, okay, what we're gonna do if this happen, because we want everybody to be included. So we also so in the council, like they posted on Facebook back in the days, like something like, hey, Jack and Jills are non-gendered, like competitions. That means that you can be a man, a woman, or any type of orientation. Okay, you just like register
Mhm.
yourself in that role, like a leader, as a leader, as a follower, and that's it. So what I'm saying is that I can feel, from inside, that we have a lot of different effort, like to include people, to face these issues, and when people start being like conservative a lot in a way that disrespect people. Because for me, I think, like you can be a conservative person, but because it's not, but like you can disrespecting something else. You know what I mean? So so anyway, so yeah, I think it's it goes with how the society in Brazil is evolving.